for our question, pero ako na muna po ang magsisimula. Direk Danny, can you give us a brief background on the project? Paano po ito nabuo? How did it start?
Yeah, you know, I went to college in St. Louis University. I graduated in 1993, chemical engineering. After graduation, I moved to the US and I built my career. I worked there for about 25 years as an engineer for Johnson & Johnson. And I feel like so empty. I've always wanted, I have a creative side of me, but I don't know what it is. So I started discovering what that is. And then exactly a year ago, I was coming up with a concept that has a cross-cultural flair. Because my wife is Japanese, so I have a interracial marriage. So sabi ko, you know what? Why don't we tell something like a romantic comedy? Kasi Filipinos are very hopeless romantic, right? So doon nag-umpisa. Exactly a year ago, I booked myself in a cabin kasi it's winter in the US. I stayed there for about 3 days and I'm trying to break the character and trying to break the arc. And then I'm so happy, and this is the result. I'm just very, very overwhelmed.
Direk Danny, how was the casting took place? What did they undergo audition or what?
Yeah, casting was the hardest. So, you know, first is money, right? If you don't have money, then you're not gonna make a movie. Second is the content. If you don't have a really good character, if you don't have compelling story, if you don't have a good plot, if you don't have a content, then it's not gonna be a good story. Then third, the cast members. So, casting is the hardest. Just to cast one role, it took me about 4 months. To get this guy, I have to audition 700 people. And to get Dylan, I have to audition 300 people. So it took me so long just to audition and bring these two people here. And then I brought my Grace. I found my Grace. Then I found my Jinky. I found my Rocky. And then the rest is history. I'm just so happy that I found all these creative people who will bring this character to life. Like, wow, I'm seeing my character. It's real. It's just unbelievable. But casting was really, really hard. Of course, they auditioned and they passed the audition. That's why they're here. So I'm really, really proud. They earned it. They earned it. That's why they're here.
Thank you, Direk Danny. Isa po siyang film but narito po siya para gumawa ng pelikula. We have a question from Mario Dumawal of ABS-CBN.
You can hear me very well. Congratulations, Danny, and particularly to Maureen. What did you see in Maureen Rabowitz?
She's my Grace. There's no other person to play Grace.
Really?
Yeah, so Grace, what's Grace got to do with it? She's very sweet. So I spent 7 years in Baguio. And, you know, I've worked and I've lived with a lot of people from the Cordillera. So I have a specific trait that I'm looking for. So to me, Grace has to be a really sweet representative of a Filipina, but also an Ifugao girl. And when I spoke with her, she actually auditioned for my other film. And hindi yun natuloy because of pandemic.
Okay.
And then from there, it's just like, I gotta hug her. I gotta hug her in my film. So that's how it all started. So I see her. I can't see any other person to make Grace come to life other than Maureen.
Will be like for mainstream release. Are there any plans as of now?
I'm sorry, plan to what?
Plan to release the movie. Like, will you be releasing it in cinemas, or will it be like through like PTX or some app or online, just online?
Yeah. Gosh, we waited for 1 year. I almost gave up because I don't know when the pandemic will be over. But I have a lot of really great plans for the film. Luckily, in the U.S. distribution is not really much an issue. We plan to have a premiere here and then premiere once the US theatrical premiere, and hopefully submit to film festival, like to submit it to like to submit it to Sundance, and then some other festivals, and then hopefully go into HBO, Airplane. Hotel.
Wow, so like higher talaga.
Yeah. So that's the plan, but you know we can't do this without everyone's support. But I'm really proud of the team. I'm really proud of the story. So you know, what's a great way to showcase the Philippines, right? right? So that's my goal. That's really my advocacy. I really believe that the Philippine cinema and also representation in Hollywood is really lacking at this point. The Koreans did it and the Indians did it, but not the Filipino. So I don't know, we're probably trailblazing something, we're probably pioneering something. So I'm hoping something good thing is going to come. I don't know what it is, but I know that something is going to happen.
It's really exciting. Congrats in advance. Thank you.
My first question is for Direk Danny. Yeah, you said that one of the goals is to showcase the Philippines to the world. Why did you choose Banaue to that to represent us? And you said you grew up in the South, and what were your best memories? And what can we expect to see from the film? Like, will we be seeing the culture or the breathtaking scenery? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I think the first question, what was the first question about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so if you're not in the Philippines and you're a foreigner, they always think that, Philippines, 7,000 islands, they think about beautiful beach, coconut trees. I'm like, wait a minute, there's other places in the country that are far beautiful than just going for vacation. So yeah, I really felt that Banaue is underrated. I really felt that the Cordillera region is underrated. Plus, I'm a little bit biased because I spent about 7 years in Baguio. And, there's always in my mind, this is so underrated, under promoted. So that's why I created the character of Grace. That's just from Banaue, who lives in Baguio. And that's all it started. What was the other two questions?
What can we expect to see of Banaue?
Oh yeah, so there's a lot. So the script is written in a way that we can get viewers that are Filipino and American. It's 90% English, 10%, 5%, 80% English, 10% Tagalog, and 10% Tuwala. So that's how the script is. But when we locked the script, we actually had to go through a lot of iterations because we had to submit to a lot of reviews from writers and critics and things like that. So one of the feedback is you need to add more cultural flair. So we added the Budong fight, we added the Igorot dancing. There's a lot of local culture there aside from the view. That's actually very, very cultural. And some of them actually is our personal experience. But it's very comedic. And one of the challenges to have a romantic comedy is a cultural thing. Kung ano yung nakakatuwa dito, not necessarily people will laugh in the US or in the UK. So we have to strike a balance in the comedy.
It says in the press that you've had your Sundance experience. What have you learned from that experience that you want to inculcate in directing this film?
Yeah, I was very fortunate that I was able to qualify to attend a Sundance Director Mentorship Program. My mentor actually is award-winning director who directed Brad Pitt and Ryan Gosling. And I was very fortunate to be one of the 33 people in that program. So I'm hoping that, having been able, this is my first Filipino movie. All my movies are in English. So I'm so intimidated to make a movie in the Philippines. But I also would like to share whatever I have, to share whatever I learned. And in return, also, I can learn something from the industry. But all the tools that I know, I think I shared with a lot of you. We started with character analysis, scene analysis. We started with synesthesia, which is my vision. I gave it to everybody so that they know that my vision is not only in my head, it's in writing, it's 30 pages. Here's what my visions are. Then we did a lot of character footprints and analysis because I know the character inside and out, but I can't see them. So we went through those exercises, and hopefully did you guys learn anything? Yeah?
Thank you. My next question, what do they
audience take away from the film? What's the premise?
Yeah, but before that, Maureen, he's my quarterback. He's my lead, and you know he never failed me. If you see him today, he's very dedicated. His look is not the same before because he's in character. There's a reason why he's facial hair. There's a reason for all of those. But also he lost a lot of weight that requires in the character. But gosh, this lady, she is, I don't know, she's just very easy to absorb everything. Actually, we're gonna put her in immersion programs. She's gonna live in Banaue for a few days. But I also have a dialect coach for her. It's working with the Tuwali and all that. What's the question?
What's the premise?
The takeaway. So, in one word, if you sum up the movie, it's justification. Actually, Carpenter Pictures, I'd like to tell a story that has social relevance. So there are two social issues that we're tackling in here. And some of those two social issues are very controversial. One is about prostitution. So think about it, in outside of the Philippines, a lot of people who wants to come here or other parts of the country to marry somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. So there's prostitution in a way. But we're tackling prostitution, but we're going to tell it in a very comedic way. And the other one is colonial mentality. That's where Jinki's character is. Jinki's character, she likes blue eyes, blonde hair, and all that jazz. So we're tackling this prostitution and colonial mentality and telling it in a way that is very comedic and very romantic. So takeaway, justification, all the four is actually these four actors are the lead. It's an ensemble. Each of them are really relevant in the story, but the whole point is really tackling a social issue. So hopefully we don't judge. Because each of those characters, they have their own way to justify their choices. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just the way it is. So it's justification in one word. It's the whole point of the story.
Do you have any target release dates for the film as of today?
Target release date?
Yes. It's a little bit pressuring because Sundance is, I think the due date to submit is July. So we have to finish before July. And then hopefully we would like to release by the end of the year. If we can get into Metro Manila Film Festival, why not? We will come back here. That would be the other option. Otherwise, Sundance is January or last of next year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isa. Before Romel Gonzalez, we have a question from Direk Danny of Manila Bulletin.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have to Mr. Danny. I have a question. You mentioned in your statement that you're hoping that in the future the Philippine cinema will be the proverbial Hollywood back. But then, sir, we're having a hard time competing at the Oscars. What do you think is the reason?
Yeah,
I think the Oscars, of course.
I think it's not that time. I think it's more about timing. In the US, it's all about. I think it's all about timing, but also about being able to showcase your story ability. I think over there, if the story is there and there's a social issue that you're tackling, I think we need to kind of mature in our storytelling. And that's something that I think we all need to learn. I'm still learning about that. But you know what? Filipinos are very talented. It's just that we don't have any representation. And I'm so, I don't know what to say. It's kind of pained me a little bit. Because we can do it. We're very, very talented. But we don't have the representation. It's just a matter of time when I can feel it. It's going to be our year. I don't know when, but it's going to come.